It looks like we are live. There's no views yet, but for anybody who watches this on stream replay, uh, I've been thinking about doing this for a while, which is um, doing some drawings on stream. Uh, my idea here is that if I'm drawing in front of people, then it gives it a little bit more discipline to actually get the drawings done. Because sometimes when I'm just drawing by myself, if it's not going well, then I quit. So having people watch me will probably be something that will help make sure that I actually get it done. But I don't have any specific tasks to draw today. I just want to poke around. Um, what you're seeing on screen is my iPad. I've got a program called Reflector 3, which captures the iPad screen and broadcasts it to my computer. And I have OBS capturing it from there. And then, just like with games, I've got my audio. So, and then the app is called Procreate. This is the reason why I draw on the iPad instead of on a computer, because this app is just amazing. It's my favorite for drawing. I'll show you. I also use this program called Graphic, and I've done some various pictures. I did this car show picture. I've done a lot of just Graphic is a vector program. Works pretty well on the iPad. So with Procreate, you can do some pretty good. I mean, it's just really easy to use. I was working on this picture for a while, just taking it slow and meticulous. And this is a dragon I drew a long time ago, and I've been working on updating to new. I'm not super happy with it. I'm not as good with characters as I am with just doodling around. This is the picture that is the backdrop of my stream. It's unfinished, just like my stream is currently not very finished. Eventually, hopefully, my stream page, I'll get more professional looking graphics. I have a YouTube video where I draw this picture. It's currently unlisted. I'm too chicken to make it public. And then this is a picture I drew a while ago. The original one, this is a painting that I did with charcoal pencil, pastels. I did this with pastels and watercolor, I think. So then I wanted to upgrade it in the iPad. I can see that the perspective isn't as good if you look at it. Make it so you can see it. I don't think the perspective, this is the original that I did in traditional media on paper, and this is the one I was doing on an iPad. There's some things I like better about it and some things I don't. And then this one is one that I did somewhat recently. This is the first drawing I did on my iPad after I got I just recently bought a brand new one because it has an upgraded pencil that I wanted to have cellular mobile access on it. So I got this new pencil and I thought, well, I'll just doodle around with it. And so this is what I started off with. Just this little sketch doodles with color on it. And then I said I wanted to add a little more purple. I added a little more purple, and I thought that looked like stormy clouds. So then once I did that, I had the idea to turn it into this, which is the finished product. So what I like doing is starting with pretty much nothing and then drawing and seeing if I can get something that looks fun. So it's going to be a bit of an experiment here doing this on camera because I really have no idea what I want to draw. The only thoughts I had was pictures that I could potentially use for a calendar, so something with seasons would be good. But that's the only thing I got. I'm going to do an 8 by 10. And then I actually want to do delete. I want to make a new preset for 8 by 10. Inches. Width is going to be 10. Height is 8. DPI 300. And then we're going to go landscape 8 by 10. There we go. Okay, so starting in the, I don't know if I should maybe do a quick little walkthrough of how Procreate works. You've got 3 different main tools. The brush will, let me set color, hot pink. The brush is what you would expect. It's just a plain brush, color put on there. The smear alters what's on the screen, like if you were using your actual finger to smudge. And then delete deletes. Super simple. Everybody could do it. But what makes it great is how the brushes work. If you, it's got all of these different things that you can set on it. Mostly you can get brushes from other people. I've played around with a little bit, but I get so lost in all the settings. So you can do sketching, and I'm not pressing hard enough. Sketch. I need to get a new screen protector for this. It's not working very well. So, see, that looks an awful lot like actual using a real pencil. Like I would expect it to look a lot like that if I was actually using a real pencil. And on the with the iPad, you can hold. You can't see this, but I'm holding my pencil on the side now. It's the same brush, so it knows. I'm using the iPad pencil. It's a stylus. It knows whether I've got the pencil held sideways or straight up and down, like a real pencil. So exactly like whenever I would do drawings myself with pencils and paper in the real world and not on the computer, I would make use of the angle of the pencil quite a bit to change my change how it looks. This is the best I can do as far as showing you where the stylus is. I did make sure that it was visible, so I, other than eventually maybe I'd set it up so you can actually see my hands, but that would be quite a lot more difficult for me to do. Right now I just want to start it, so hopefully it'll be okay for you guys to see what I'm doing well enough through just the computer. Anyway, that's sketching. There's a lot of different ones there. They've got inking, so you can do a marker. It has pressure sensitivity too, so this is like if I'm turning my marker on the side. Um, it's got, what else could I show you? Water. Make it a little bigger. Ooh. See, that makes quite a big water wash. So you could, it takes a little bit more effort to simulate watercolor, but you can. I like to use this Hessian. It makes a really nice looking crosshatch that you can control. This is stylus on the side. I'll try to remember to tell you what I'm doing since you can't see that. So you can very quickly get a lot of texture. And if I'm going to do a picture, I like it to have a lot of texture. I'm not very good at drawing texture in Photoshop. For some reason with Procreate, it's just really easy to do it. And I think, I don't know, is it just that it fits my style better or it's a cheap trick for me? I'm not sure. Some people will still want to use uh, um, Cintiq, a Wacom Cintiq. If you look at it, look it up. It's WACOM is the company, and Cintiq is CINTIQ, and that's a touchscreen monitor tablet that you can use with Mac. And I don't have a Mac. I do have a Cintiq, but I like this better. I haven't used the Mac drawing apps the same way that I use this app, so I don't even know what out there is good. But I know that a lot of professionals use Macs. I don't have that set up. And I'm not a professional. But I like to draw. Let's see. So probably should start with something springy since it's spring. And in the very beginning, I'm gonna doodle a little bit and see if something starts to make sense. Spring always makes me think of light blue and bright green and pink, I guess. I'm not a big fan of pink in general, but I think pink crabapple blossoms are one of my favorite things. I always like to take pictures of it. Anybody who's seen my photo collection would know that that's something I do quite a lot of. So I've got quite a lot of texture on the screen right now. I want to soften the hard spots on that. So with smudge, a lot of times you want to turn the opacity way down. You just want to Bob Ross it a bit. Just a happy little change. We don't want to make it too sudden. If it's too sudden, then everybody freaks out. We can't do that. I don't know, it feels kind of cheap using Bob Ross while I'm drawing, like, because I know that people like watching him. I'll just name drop. Then everybody will love me and I'll be popular. Hey. So, with it being light blue and it smudged a little bit. It could look like a pretty sky with a little bit of feathery clouds. Right now it just looks like frosted light blue glass. But the more you do this, the more color layers we add here, the better it'll look. So that's the start. Next thing I would do is go back and check, okay, is there any weird edges, any patterns? So I want to fill this up a little bit. I don't want to have any, I don't want to draw your eyes in if it's just background. I just want it to be just enough there so that you know that it's not a flat background, but not so much that you're trying to figure out what it is that I drew, you know, because when you're doing flowers of photos, the background you want to blur. That's how you make a good flower photo with photography. So if you're going to do that in artwork, you still want the same thing. I don't want to start drawing fine detail in the background, you know, have people's address visible on the zoom and enhance or anything like that. I just want to suggest the background. So it works exactly like a photo would work. If you put too much detail in, people are going to be trying to Da Vinci code your background when all you wanted to do was just have a little bit of sky. Okay, so that's the blue. Now I didn't change my background color here is white, and because I didn't fill in the next layer, that means quite a lot of the background is here. So if I ever changed the background to something else, it completely messes up the entire picture. So right now the white is part of the picture. It doesn't matter for this, but in some cases you find out that you've colored, like, I'll show you, is that you've colored in your picture, like with this one, my background, if I started off with white and I painted my kitty cat and then I changed my background to some other color, all of a sudden my cat has blue all over it, like this. So it's one thing I always forget to do, but in this case it's not going to matter. Okay, I made another layer. I want to get, usually when I do a sky, I want to get a little bit of darker blue too. And I'm going to make this quite a bit more gentle looking. I don't want a lot of it. We'll see if I like. It's a very big brush. Yeah, just a little bit of, so that it's not just one color. So then we have texture in how the colors are applied on the screen, and then we have texture in the fact that it's not one color totally. Let's do a little bit of smudge in here. I don't want it to be that much. Okay, so we'll call this the background. Good news is, just like Minecraft, if you don't like it, you can break the blocks or you can change the layer. But this is good enough for now. Next, since we're talking spring, I'm going to want some leaves. The one thing I could do is oops. Yes, look at all of my icons. I usually use my own photos because then I know I don't have any issues. I'll go there. That's my own DeviantArt site. And then I browse my own gallery. I'm not logged in here. So I like to look at my own photos to see if I get any inspiration. And then I won't have any licensing issues because I know the owner and she's a jerk, but she can't tell me that I can't use my own photos. See, what I'm looking for is the kind of colors I want. I could do something like that. That'd be fun. Okay, then I'm gonna go back to here and I'm gonna, do I have a new layer? Okay, good. Insert a file. Insert a photo. There. So then I can use that to get my, hi Ryan. Then I can use that to get the colors that I want to use. So it is, these are going to be, I know that they're natural because it was from a photo. So if you press and hold, you can get the color wheel. So I just picked it. And then I do want to, because it's very yellow, I want to cool the color down a bit. So then I can do a slider here and just go a little bit towards the green blue side and then brighten it up just a bit. So up the saturation and then up the brightness. So this will be my light blue. And then what I like to do is I'll make a palette layer. Oops. Because it's easy to accidentally get another color. And then you lose that one. I think I like this. Get that green. Need a medium green. There's a few greens here that we can use. And so very quickly you end up with a palette. Oops. Oopsie. Nope. There you go. I think that's actually white, 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 white. Yep. So it looks like there's an overexposed spot on my photo, but that makes sense since that's highlights. Morning, Mom. Okay, I know you're the color person. I've got 5 greens and a white here for spring. Does it look good? If you like it, then it's got to be good. Okay, so usually when I start doing texture, I start in the middle. Yeah, the two darks are kind of similar, but I probably won't use the medium dark. It's a little bluer though, I think. So we'll see. So then, what am I going to do for a first try on the brush? Does this look like it? No. Half tone? Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's see about sable. So this is the part where I'm just kind of messing around. I'm not even sure whether I don't really want to do grass. But I just used grass to get my colors. So I probably want to do uh, trees and leaves on trees. But I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so I just kind of start doodling around and see if there's anything that looks fun to me, and then from there I make a picture. So what the ride is that you guys are in for is me not knowing what I'm gonna do and doing a lot of erasing. It either works or it doesn't work. But that's how that other picture that I showed you, the storm clouds, that's how that picture happened, was starting with not knowing what I was going to do, and eventually it turned into something that I liked. And that I was comfortable with sharing with other people. So, sorry to say if you're looking at it and you're like, what's she doing? She don't know. She don't have any clue. I'm just putting the thing on the thing and hoping that it looks nice. That's why some people are like, you're a good artist. I'm like, No, I'm just lucky. Because I don't have any training to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing with this stuff. And I think a lot of artists can actually go with zero and turn it and have something in their head and say, "Oh, here's what I'm planning on doing," and then they do it, and it's amazing. And I'm just not that kind of artist. That's why it's a little bit scary for me to draw on stream like this, because this could look like poo. It probably does right now, and then what was the whole point of watching me draw poo on the screen? This erase is not erasing much. Turpentine's a very much of a smudge. What other one would I try? Maybe I could do a water brush, really, really soft with the, really soft. A little bit bigger and with a little bit more. The erase is working, right? This is how you test it. Okay, it's working. So I'm trying to suggest that there's leaves here. You don't want to draw too much, but then, with a leaf, if you're doing the negative space around leaves, it will have points, but it'll also have smooth edges. You don't want to get too specific with it, because otherwise you've got people looking too closely at your background, and there's secrets and dangers hiding there, and you don't want them doing that. That's not good. The cool thing about this stream is, if I were to end it right now, I think I'd get my invite to be affiliate just right now. That's not why I'm doing it, but this is the last hurdle that I needed. And here it is working. So now I can just have fun and draw and not worry about Twitch. So these stamp ones, a little bit buggy, I think. It only does one stamp. I don't know, it's just... Okay, so I want to smudge that again. I'm just trying to get... You end up with a suggestion of a lot of depth. It's not just... Even though this is a 2D thing, you want it to look like you've got a long distance of content in front of your eyes by having all of that there. I use rust a lot. I'm going to see if that will work better than... Yeah, I think it's going to work better than what I was doing there with the brick wall. Too little. Sometimes it's kind of like, in your shower where you've got your hot and your cold, and the just right is this teeny tiny little sliver in the middle. Sometimes the brush size is like that. You think you only move the slider a little bit, but you actually changed the brush size so much that it went from being way too big to way too little. No, go back. Okay, change that. I think we're getting close to wanting to erase a little bit more. And then once I have that, I will make a new layer and put in a different color because we need to start varying the foreground color a little bit. This might be too much. I'm gonna smudge it again. I'm gonna keep with it for here, but losing too much of my background. I want some back. I'm kind of trying to stay to the places that are already light, but you can also go up right up against the places that aren't, like these real filled in areas. Then you end up with a hard edge, which I'll then smooth again, but not everywhere. So you get quite a lot of texture really fast, really easy. This is starting to look to me a little bit like peeking through tree leaves. We'll see. I'm going to reduce the smudge on this and see if I can keep some of this but still soften the edges. A lot of it's back and forth and back and forth. Do I like it? Don't I like it? I could use the undo, but since I don't know what I'm doing or I don't know where I'm going on this little journey, I'm kind of wandering around. So you can either, if you find yourself lost, you could either turn around or you can just keep going straight. And hopefully eventually you figure out where you are. I'm choosing path B here. I like what it looks like, but it's not a it's not interesting enough yet. So I still got to keep going. Could do this is a really good smudge. See if if I change the smudge, will I like it? It's just a mess. Probably should see if putting another layer on and changing the color, if I'll like it again. Make this really big and then really light. Not that big. Because this could be just the very, very, very background. And then the next layer I'll like. A little more. So sometimes you want to smudge in from the blank areas, and sometimes you want to smudge out from the paint areas. Then you end up with, that's how you get the interesting borders. Just go back and forth between the blank areas and the paint areas. I do like this. This I like. Okay, another layer. I think I want it to be a little bit lighter, but not a lot lighter. And this is one thing where Mom and I talk about this. You really want like one dark, one medium, one light. But I'm going to go just a little bit lighter. Even though it's very similar, but I want to get something that's really similar but just a little bit lighter. So that's upping the saturation. Derp. Okay. Instead of doing that, okay. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna, next thing I gotta do, I want to make sure that I save the color. Okay, Studio Pen should work. Hi, Mike. See, it's very similar to this. I think I want it a little lighter though. A little lighter, but still similar. Now, maybe I want to do this with pen and then smudge the pen. You can just do really terrible looking scribbles and then smudge them. You could do anything you want. And then by the time it's all smudged, you won't see any of it. Hi, Funky. Did you get out of work on break? Woot, lunch. So if you smudge it that much so that you can't see any of the original doodles, it just becomes kind of a background layer. Right, still. So, hi, Phoenix. I was kind of thinking of you when I did this in the morning, because then you'd be able to see. You like green? Thank you. So, I've done a few that I call them papers. I didn't show you guys before, but I did. I use this as a background a lot. I call it blue rust. And then I've modified that. So this is a green version. That's the background of my rose picture. And I've got this one, which is just a regular cottony looking. And then I tried to do homemade paper. I haven't found a whole lot of uses for this yet. And then I added linen to my blue so that it looks like cloth. And then this one is kind of like a backdrop for like a Da Vinci painting or something like that. So I keep these that are just abstract so I can use as backdrops. This one still needs some work. Am I on the right layer? Yep. I'm not happy with this layer, so I'm going to just clear it. Gone. I think my mom was right, even though she didn't say anything. The medium texture that I did is just not good. So, Yellow Phoenix says the favorite color is purple. I haven't ever found a way that this just looks like little cotton ball aliens with weird derpy legs. The drip. Nope. I haven't found a use for that yet. I think I want something. You didn't need to say anything. You were right, though. You were thinking about it, weren't you? Admit it. You knew that I wasn't going to like it. You knew I wasn't going to like it, didn't you? She's so smart. She's also an artist, for anybody who's watching and wondered. So I've used this before as to start creating a leaf texture. This is called, is it called? Rad. We'll see if this works. Probably won't. Who knows? We'll try it. Yes, you should definitely stream doing pixel art. You're actually good at it, and people would like that. I think what I'm probably going to end up having to do is abandon what I'm doing here and start with a foreground, because I'm not really feeling it with what I'm doing here. And sometimes you just need to take a minute. See, Mom, they say they would watch it. So now that everybody said that they would watch it, now you're obligated. You're going to have to figure out how to set up OBS, and you're going to have to stream your pixel art. This isn't looking terrible. I might leave this. What app are you using on your iPad for pixel art? I know you and I have talked about it, but I wasn't sure what you ended up with. Pixaki for anybody who's watching the stream, because you don't get the chat later. Pixaki. Is that one that the person was doing individually, like just as a hobby? It wasn't like a professional company. Yeah, that's cool. Somebody who really likes doing pixel art, making a app that they probably use themselves instead of some computer nerd somewhere in front of an office making an app. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this. I kind of want to do daisies, but daisies are hard. So I'm gonna Google daisy on my computer here and see if I can get a picture that I can use. Mike, why were you up all night? Okay, so I have a new layer set up, and I did do a quick Google of Daisy, so I have an idea of what the colors and everything look like. So, new layer. This I want to be really yellow for the center. I probably could just use this one. I think that's too small. So, at the center of a daisy, it's a little bit green, according to this, because it doesn't have, it's not like, it's just tiny little buds that grow. So you do put a little bit of green. Like this. I'm probably going to want something kind of like a stipple, but littler. I need another color because I want to see what this is going to look like. Yes. I'm going to make it have a good birthday party with your grandma. Hopefully that goes well. Thanks for hosting me, Funky. I feel really special now. Thanks. You too. My first host from you, Joe has been hosting me. TCG Joe. He must have. Do you have to be affiliate to host people? Is that one of your special new powers that you have? What's AFD mean? Ooh, auto host. Okay. But you can't raid people without affiliate. AFD is mistype. Up my saturation just a bit. Well, get yourself a giant phone. One of those ones that when you hold it up to your ear, it looks like you're holding a cookie sheet to your ear. You should do that. Yeah, phablet. You have a phablet? Yeah, me neither. But I do have a tablet. This is probably spending way too much on just the center of the daisy, but this is going to be the focal point. The problem is that also means it's probably going to it makes it a lot more tricky to make sure that it looks good using all of these. How do you even know what what inches your phone has? You're British. Shouldn't it be in centimeters or something? Or have you guys gone over to the dark side when it comes to tech? You guys are on the dark side. You have to understand what 7.8-inch screen is because Americans made phones. I see how it is. I want this color saved. Not with that, though. I want this color saved. And I want this color. Okay. So, as I was deleting, smudging, not super happy with it. So I'm going to, if when I'm not super happy with it, the next thing I do is smudge the whole thing and then go back and re-add the textures. So the benefit of doing that is all of those colors that I had that I don't like exactly how the texture looked, they're still there. And then when I re-add the texture, it'll just make it makes the smeared background still have like a gradient to it, like this. So then I have to smudge that again. And then I'll add the stipple back. How long is your lunch, Funky? Is it a half hour? And what's for lunch? And are you sharing? I haven't had anything to eat yet today. It is only 8:30. Aw. So one thing, pot noodle. I don't know what pot noodle is. Is that ramen? Trying to find one that I like here. See if I can make glimmer work. Oh, that looks awful. Nope. Will this work? If I make it smaller. And use a color that I can tell what it looks like. That almost could work. I have to smear it a bit. Oh yeah, these are little flowers. If you look at closely at flowers, a lot of the little buds and stuff, they actually are petal. They actually have petals on them. This will work. So when it moved back an hour, you think that that means that you'll be able to make it even with your barbecue tonight? I'm trying to put just a little bit of a darker ring around the bottom edge. That's how, because that gives this, the little center of a daisy is a three-dimensional thing sticking up. So you want it to have some dimension to it. Save this color. And then all of that gets trimmed off. It'll look like a little, kind of like a little hash brown, I guess. Maybe I am hungry. It's Funky's fault, I'm sure. Where did I put that? There, flower power. Just a little bit in the center. Smudge it. Then I'm going to want to do... I want noodles too. He's not sharing. He might not be watching anymore because I asked him a question about his barbecue and he hasn't replied. He might have had to go back. finish up his work day so he can come home and do UHC tonight. Which is in, let's see, it's 8:30, starts at 4, so 7.5 hours from now. So I'm going to use the flower power to erase, but I'm going to make it smaller, obviously. Sometimes it works really well to use the same brush to erase as you do to add color, because then you have the negative stamp is the same as the positive. There. It's either going to look good or it's going to look bad when I start putting the other layers, the flowers on it. I'm going to move this to my so there's probably an easier way to do this, but duplicate. Move that over there. Then you two merge. You're supposed to be able to pinch, but merge down. Okay. Like it never happened. So, because they're like little tissue papers, the white flowers, or the white flower petals, will tend to be a little bit translucent, not fully opaque. With blue, it makes them look a little bluish. So, I'm going to turn that color into slightly, it's all the way up. It's just slightly blue. Mostly white, but slightly blue. Gotta be in the right layer when I do that. I think Funky left us and went to go back to work. I haven't used all of these yet. Oh, there you are. Hi, Funky. Ooh, that's gonna work. I think that'll be nice. But I don't want it to be like that. Okay, so see, the problem is I want to vary the size, but I also kind of want to vary the opacity on it. But I think I'll just vary the size and I'll deal with the opacity later. It's hard to control. What's it like on the side? Nope, I don't like that. Undo. Just like everything else that needs to be tweaked once it's on there. It's really just get it started. One thing, Mom, if you're still watching, you remember how you did those color pouring? You had that color pouring workshop? Even though I didn't go to that workshop, I still remember how what you guys learned from that was sometimes you just want to you get the color on the screen and then you do some on the paper and then you do something with it later. So even if this isn't right, it gets it to the point where I take it from there. You know what I mean? I'm not quite there yet with how I like it. I might just have to do it. Do it. Daisies have a lot of petals. What do you think? I mean, that's obviously not a daisy yet, but edit the petals from here. This is supposed to be. How does brush opacity? I don't think this brush has an opacity. Okay, so next it needs to be smudged. Smudgy smudge. I'll smudge with the blotchy. So Funky, I'm guessing they won't let you watch streams while you're at work. Smudge is the next diggy hole. Smudgy smudge. It may have been a mistake to try to do a daisy because that's not a drawing that's accidental. Like that was the whole thing, was I was just gonna do something that I could just do accident, like it would just come on this, they would just draw on the screen and it would look good because it's abstract. When you do something that's not abstract, then you have to do it right. I'm doing fine. It looks terrible. Get to the end and it looks like a daisy, then they'll be good. But until then, I start getting worried. It's part of why I'm doing it on stream, because this is where I quit. You know, if you guys weren't watching, I'd be like, okay, this looks terrible, I quit. That's why you draw it on stream, because the people will tell you, no, you're doing fine, keep going. And then, just like they do in Minecraft, they would say, you left diamonds in the ground, turn around and go back. So you would tell me if I did it, if it looked bad. It does look terrible to the artist right now. You'd never forgive me if I left it where it is right now. Rage quit. Funky won't tell me if I leave diamonds on the ground because you're going to still be alive. Otherwise, I'll have to kill you. Silly Funky. Mom, I'm kind of thinking about your painting that you did for Jean with the butterflies on it when I do this. Have you been getting that same vibe? Even though it's digital instead of watercolor. I remember looking at it last Sunday and thinking, that's really pretty. I want to do a picture that's that beautiful. She's a really good artist, for anybody who's watching. Well, yeah, it's not actual paint. I don't do actual paint anymore. Not very much, at least. And it's going to be in my style, or else it's not good. I'm not copying your style. That looks a little bit more like petals. Okay, later, Funky. I do hope you win. Kind of hope that I'm winning along with you, but we'll see. Yeah, that's passable, right? It needs a little bit of purple for shading for the leaves. for the petals. What do you think? Does that look like a daisy? Like? Oh, like, as in you like it. Okay, got it. So, next is to put a little bit of purplish on the leaves, or on the petals. I'm just checking in with my picture here. Before I change the color, no, I already did that. We can go to change this over to purplish, and then we're going to want to up the saturation just a little bit and then darken it. Now this kind of a gray purple is going to be drawn on there pretty light. And it's also on the wrong layer because I do that. Okay, so color layer gone. Now this needs to be somewhat wispy. I think I do have touch-ups. See that? That'll work. Flowing here. Because we want to suggest in the this little, almost like record player lines, for anybody that knows what a record is, in the petals. And you don't need a lot, but this is one where you can draw it in and then take it back out, and it'll probably work better. But you want it to be wispy and light. And you want to be able to suggest which petals are in front. Because with your foreground, they should know whether the petals in the front or behind. So you can start adding that and adding in, it ends up being shading. I realize that the screen's kind of, I'm not looking at my screen, so if I've got it on a weird angle and it's hard for you guys to see, just throw a tomato at me or something. I do a lot of rotating the screen when I draw. This is a lot more purple than will be in the final image because it's going to get erased, quite a bit of it. I don't want to end up with um, too much of it because the petals are supposed to look white. Nope. I probably want to smudge this first before I erase. I think I'm going to do it with something simple like the pen. Because I've already got quite a bit of texture. Yeah, this is working okay. So you can see a little bit of the stripes. One bad thing about doing the stream this early is there's nobody online. You're the only one watching now, Mom. Get yourself a couple of friends. At least I think you're the only one watching. Yeah, that's fine. As long as I don't drop below 3 average viewers, then I haven't knocked myself out of the affiliate thing. You want to stream Minecraft? You all set up? Once I get this done, maybe I can quit. I mean, it's not done, the picture, but How long does it say I've been going for? Laundry happens. I'm not sure how long I've been. Oh, I've been streaming for an hour and a half. Then it's about time to let it marinate anyway. Come back to it. If you're the only one watching, then I can just work on it again later. Hopefully, I had 5 average views before, so hopefully it won't drop too low. I just didn't want to, once I had 3 views and was streaming a little bit, I didn't want to just say, okay, that's it, I got what I needed, then I'm gone. Like, that didn't seem fair. But if everybody's gone to do something else, then I can get to a good stopping point and shut this down. It does kind of look like that's probably a good spot to think I'm going to want to define the petals a little more, and I think I'm going to want to figure out what else I want to do with the rest of the picture. But I'm going to take my show on the road here and stop streaming. Thanks, Mom, for watching. And if anybody watches the stream replay, thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time, and I'm sure I'm going to do this again. Bye, everybody.